Hello, everyone, and welcome. Today we're talking about the Baltimore Ravens, a team that previously revolved around defense. Now it looks like they are switching the strategy of the franchise, going to an offensive roster. They have boosted their defense with Earl Thomas, but there have been some loss on the defense of the Ravens with C.J. Mosley leaving. Earl Thomas was a good pickup, very good. He's going to help boost the secondary. He will give the secondary what it hasn't had since Reed left. Strong leadership, a ton of athletic ability, and experience. This is a team that revolves around the success of Lamar Jackson, a second-year playoff caliber quarterback. Baltimore was not winning when Lamar Jackson came in. Lamar Jackson was able to help the team turn it around and win enough games to make playoffs. And looked and made some plays in the playoffs. He looked like he belonged in the playoffs. There are some rookie quarterbacks when they go into the playoffs, they choke, their play deteriorates because of the enthusiasm in the game, the intensity in the game. They're not able to rise to the occasion. It's definitely a very positive aspect of Lamar Jackson. He was able to rise to the occasion last year and play pretty well in the playoffs. In college, Lamar Jackson was able to get a lot better every year. It'll be interesting to see in his second season, how much better does Lamar Jackson get as a pure quarterback? We all know he can run. His accuracy got better every game. I thought his accuracy got better every game. His execution came up, accuracy came up along with it. To help him out in the first round, they went out and got Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown, Antonio Brown's cousin, the best speed receiver in the nation last year in college football. Marquise can run a variety of routes. He is a dynamic player. He is going to help this offense exceed expectations. You already have underneath receivers like a Willie Snead. Marquise Brown is going to push the safeties back and force the safeties to play honest, so Willie Snead can go over the middle and make the tough catches without safeties already being up there. So the safeties are going to have to play a little bit deeper. You should see a much bigger year from a Willie Snead or maybe a Hayden Hurst, the tight end, because of the speed that will have to be respected from Marquise Brown. Marquise Brown can do it from the outside or the slot position. He's a very versatile wide receiver with a ton of speed and athleticism. A lot of run after the catch ability, elusiveness, everything you would possibly want. And they didn't stop there. Very underrated Miles Boykin, wide receiver in the third round out of Notre Dame. Big possession receiver with some run after the catch ability. This guy is the guy. When the play breaks down, Miles Boykin will help a Lamar Jackson. And do I think Miles Boykin will be a strong part of the rotation even early in the season? I do. Do I think he's a starter? No. I think he's a very strong rotational wide receiver. So you're still going to see him out there for 20 to 25 plays a game, even week one. He's that good. Underrated from Notre Dame. A lot of the Notre Dame players were underrated. Notre Dame didn't do as good as they were anticipated to do. They were anticipated to make the Final Four, maybe make a push for the national championship. They weren't able to do that. Notre Dame as a team wasn't a top-tier team, but they were players on Notre Dame that were much better than they were rated going into the draft. Miles Boykin was one of those players. He's a legit, in most years, he's a legitimate high second round draft pick. You should see very good production from a Miles Boykin, 35 to 50 catches in that range. You're going to see him a lot in the middle of the third quarter when wide receivers are starting to get tired. They need to start rotating their wide receivers. You're going to see Miles Boykin pop up. He's very good at helping out his quarterback and coming back to the quarterback when the play breaks down, when Lamar is extending the play. Then the do-it-all running back, Justice Hill, 4th round out of Oklahoma State. This guy is the definition of performance. He was dynamic. And he was dynamically underrated coming into the draft. A scout wrote that he wasn't mentally tough early on in his career at Oklahoma State. So he got a little bit of a bad rap. He spent the rest of his college career proving him wrong. In the NFL, you talk about a receiver he can run, but you talk about a receiver out of the backfield with explosiveness, he's your guy. He's got 4.4 speed. Vision, power, elusiveness, acceleration. And I think that's the biggest part of Justin Hill's game is his acceleration. He is at top speed very quick, and he's got some good stop and go to him. He's a dark horse for Rookie of the Year. He is somebody that could jump off really fast and just explode into the season. And then you got additional depth on the offensive line in Ben Powers, offensive guard out of Oklahoma. He protected Baker Mayfield when he was at Oklahoma. He protected Kyler Murray when he was at Oklahoma. Pretty good names. Good in run blocking, good in pass blocking. I think at this point in his career, he's a very solid rotational guard. He'll give guys a rest when they start getting tired. They didn't add a lot on defense, but the Ravens were monumental in how much they added on offense. The Ravens are a team this year that could score 29 points a game without any doubt in my mind. You go through this roster, you're stout on the O-line. Ronnie Staley, Orlando Brown going into his second year, Marshall Yanda, just to name a few. Okay, you have some elite linemen mixed in with very good linemen. Very solid with Nick Boyle and Hayden Hurst at the tight end. Mark Andrews, instrumental last year. What's he going to be going into his second year? You talk about player progression with Lamar Jackson. Mark Andrews showed a lot of potential last year, and we will see this year what Mark Andrews' progression is. On defense, you're talking primarily guys that have already been there. They did add Gillen Ferguson. They're going to play him at linebacker. He's 6'5", 275. He's a D-end at Louisiana Tech. He's got some burst off the edge. He's a good all-around football player. Makes sense why they got him. They were not able to bring in another impact middle linebacker. But they did get the impact safety in Earl Thomas. And the defensive backfield is actually pretty solid. You've got, Jimmy Smith, Marlon Humphrey. There's some solid names in the defensive backfield. Brandon Carr. I mean, there's some veterans to help out the younger players. very Tony Jefferson, a big pickup from a few years back. So the safety position is very, very good. You got Tavon Young. He's shown considerable improvement over the last 2 years. Very, very solid at the cornerback. The middle linebacker spot, we will see what it is without C.J. Mosley. Does somebody rise to the occasion? You have Matthew Judon, who has made some plays. But does he continue his progression as a player and play? Baltimore has a few good players that are rotational players and play very well in the rotation. I think you'll see multitudes of middle linebackers playing. Who they're going to have as the leader of the group calling the plays, I would think it's a safety. They'll probably have one safety calling the plays for the defensive backfield and one safety calling the plays for the front seven, until somebody steps forward as that bona fide leader. And then, obviously he'll be the guy. But right now, Baltimore they have upgraded on the offense, bringing in another player through free agency, Mark Engram, a 5'9", 215-pound halfback. I mean, he is powerful. He is going to go extremely well with the power running scheme of Baltimore. This is his game. He does have some receiving ability, but he is a power downhill running back with receiving and big play ability. Lamar Jackson's back there scrambling around, little zone read, some RPOs. This Baltimore team is going to be predicated on scoring points. They want to be able to control the ball and have big plays. And I think that's exactly what you're going to see. They'll get first down after first down after first down, and then boom, big play. They'll have Mark Engram running along with Gus Edwards, and all of a sudden a guy like Justice Hill will come into the game, and there'll be an offensive explosion. Very potent, powerful group. You go to your wide receivers. You've got some names in here. Willie Snead, and we spoke about the additions through the draft, and Miles Boykin, the 6'4", 228-pounder, and then the speed receiver and Marquise Brown with unbelievable speed. Added some potential players as well. Michael Floyd, a former first-round draft pick, has had an up-and-down career. A dark horse, Jordan Lasley, out of UCLA. Little bit of a dark horse. Don't be surprised if he has a good camp. Jarrell Scott, a 6'5", 210-pounder, second year at a New Mexico State, highly athletic player. Extremely athletic. This guy can get it done. And even a Jalen Smith, free agent rookie out of Louisville. Had a good career at Louisville. Was very consistent. Just, he's a possession receiver. He didn't bring a lot, anything really dynamic, but he did make a lot of plays. He was very consistent. He wasn't like your big play, score 3 touchdowns in a game guy. He might score a touchdown every game. But he was solid. Nothing wrong with Jalen Smith. I think with the rest, Baltimore will be in strong contention for the AFC North with the rest of the division. I don't think the Steelers got a lot better. The only team that made a tremendous improvement was the Browns. And the Browns have a lot of moving pieces to put together. I think the Baltimore Ravens will have a lot more team continuity. So Baltimore is in contention. I definitely see them as a playoff team this year. How deep they'll go into the playoffs will be depend on Lamar Jackson. If they're able to develop Lamar Jackson and some of these rookie wide receivers, this team will go far. It'll be hard. They'll be hard to stop. There's no question about it. Well, everyone, I hope you enjoyed the show. Be sure to join me next week as we go into post OTA action and a training camp preview. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.